Do you recall approximately when it was?
Yes, January 26th of 2020
Do you recall where it occurred?
at our home in El Paso, Texas on 5996 Ojo de Agua.
And do you recall who all was home?
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the street? What was the street?
5996 OJO space DE space AGUA Ojo de Agua.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, and I think you had asked who was home.
Yes. Do you recall who was home when this incident occurred?
Michael, myself, and our son.
And do you recall where in the home you were when it occurred?
I was in our bedroom.
Do you know where William, your son, was at that time?
William was sleeping upstairs in his room.
What happened between the two of you?
Mike was very, very drunk and came into the bedroom, ripped off the sheets, the comforter, I mean, and slapped me on the leg. And when I rolled over, he grabbed the pillow and held it over my face. There was a struggle to get the pillow off of my face. I slept on the right side of the bed at that time. I was able to get over to the left, and I ran upstairs and locked myself in the room with William.
Okay. Do you remember how long the pillow was over your face?
Long enough for me to not to struggle to be able to breathe after lifted off my face. So I would say around 10, 12 seconds.
Were you breathing while it was over your face?
No.
How did you feel as it was over your face?
Absolutely terrified. Very, very scared.
Prior to this incident with the pillow, had Mr. Dixon been physically violent with you before?
No, it had always been just more verbal, and he was very much, he was, I think, drinking 2 to 3 bottles of liquor a day during this time and continued to do so well into the next year. And at this point, he would become very, very aggressive and physically. He would get in my face and yell and try to get me to do something to him. He would call me names. He would scream at me.
Okay. Once you got him or the pillow off of you, what happened next?
I locked myself in the room with William, and he continued to, yell at me from upstairs, let's finish this, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't come out. When I finally heard that he had stopped, I was able to get my phone, and I took pictures of the sheets and the marks on my body. And the following day, I made a go bag for my son and I, and we kept it at Adriana's house. And a few days later, he was drunk again, and we stayed the night there.
Okay. I just want to pause here because you did mention Adriana. And just very briefly, what was Adriana's role for you and Mr. Dixon?
She had been for our family since our son was around 5 months old, and would be his nanny throughout the course of his life. And when I went back to work and things like that, so her hours and days varied.
Okay.
She was his nanny.
Was she living with you back at this time when this incident took place?
No, she has never lived with us until
And Your Honor, may I please share my screen?
You may.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Dixon, can you see what I have pulled up here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm showing you what's marked P1. It's 4 pages. Do you recognize what I'm showing you? I'm
Yes.
sorry, it's jumping. Okay. What, just generally, what are these?
These are pictures of like my thigh where Mike had slapped me with his left hand
Okay,
the night that he held the pillow over me and had woken me up from sleep to being woken up by a slap on the leg and like butt and thigh area.
are these the photos that you provided to me?
Yes, they are.
Do they appear to have been changed or modified in any way since providing them to me?
No,
Okay, did you change or modify them?
I did not.
And do they accurately represent how you appeared on that night?
Yes.
State moves to enter petitioners 1 into evidence.
No objection.
Petitioner's 1 is admitted.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Dixon, where are we able to see where he made contact with you during that incident?
No, thereafter he did send me messages and via social media and texts, and where I even had stated what had occurred.
Do you recall how long after he pulled the sheets off of you and slapped you, how long it was until you took these pictures?
It was about an hour and a half, I would say.
And I apologize, I think I didn't catch your answer. Are you able to see where he made contact with you on this picture?
On this one, if you zoom in, I have a birthmark on my right thigh, and
Okay.
to the left and up a little, you can see some red.
Okay, so I have my cursor where the birthmark is on your thigh, and I'm moving it over to the left.
Yes, and up a little right there.
Okay, and is my cursor now near where the contact was made?
Yes.
And did you call the police?
I did not.
And you mentioned going into your son's room. How long did you stay in your son's room?
I stayed the night in there.
Okay. And how were things the following day?
I told him what he had done. He claimed he didn't remember because he was drunk and that it didn't happen. And I think throughout the day he left and came back drunk. And I think on the 28th, we stayed with Adriana, and that's when I received those messages from him.
And how did he message you? Was it text, Instagram?
Text and Instagram.
Okay. What type of messages were these?
Threatening that if I didn't bring home his son, that I would reap his vengeance, that he would come after me with everything he had. He continued to call me a whore, a bitch, and that he would send me pictures of girls he was in a sleep with. He alleged that I had an affair with someone I hadn't seen in almost 11 years. And that he was for the cops to come because he alleged that still this incident did not happen.
Okay. How did you have him saved in your phone at the time?
Handsome.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I please share my screen?
You may.
All right. Ms. Dixon, can you see what I have pulled up marked as P2 on my screen?
Yes.
I'm just scrolling through it. It's 8 pages long. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes.
And are these screenshots that you provided me?
Yes, they are.
And did you take the screenshots?
I did.
Okay. And do you recall when you received the messages we are seeing in these screenshots in P2?
This was, I believe, on February 1st, so almost a week after the incident. Throughout, and as I mentioned, he was heavily drinking daily, and this was, I believe, a Friday or a Saturday night, and he was drunk again, and I had no intentions of reliving what had just happened the week prior. And I took William and I with a bag of additional things because I wasn't sure how long I may need to be gone for.
Okay.
He-
Do these, sorry, let me ask you a question so we can keep this just question answer. Do these screenshots look the same as when you provided them to me?
Yes.
Do they appear to have had any changes made to them?
No.
State moves to enter petitioners 2 into evidence.
I have one question on voir dire I'd like to ask Your Honor before responding.
For what purpose?
I just want to know from this witness if there is a date on any of these text messages. Does a date appear anywhere on them?
Well, I don't think that requires testimony. You can examine the exhibits.
Well, she's scrolling through it very, very quickly, and
I can
can't
go
see the whole
slower.
thing.
They've also been in the box since early last night, I guess,
Yeah.
or this morning.
No, there was nothing there last night. I looked
This
at about
morning,
10 p.m.
All right, we can take a break if you want to examine the exhibit.
Okay. I have no objection to petitioners 2.
All right, petitioners 2 is admitted.
All right, Ms. Dixon, here on the first page of P2, there's a text in the middle of the screen that says today 9:17 p.m. Do you know what day that refers to?
I believe it's February 1st.
And what are we looking at here on page 1 of P2?
That would have been a screenshot from my Instagram. And this is when he began sending me messages at the simultaneously on Instagram and via text message.
Okay. Do you know who this person is that we're seeing in the text message?
That is a picture of me.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
That's a picture of myself.
Okay. And do you know why? Well, I'm here now on page 2 of P2,
Yes.
and we're seeing the continuation of that. What is he saying to you about the picture?
That I'm I guess a little piece, I don't know, piece of shit or what he's referring to.
Objection to the speculation.
All right, sustained.
All right, and Ms. Dixon, will you read is the blue text you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and will you read the message at the top of page 2 of P2?
The exhibit's in it. It's been admitted into evidence. I can read it. If you want to ask a question about it, that's fine. But
Miss Dixon, you refer to being with Anna. What is that you're talking about?
When William was younger, could not say her whole name, which is Adriana, and so we shortened it. And so at any point in time throughout William's life, we've always just referred to her as Anna.
Okay. And here on we're on page 3. Mr. Dixon's saying something about chickens are coming home to roost and he owns you. Do you know what he's, if you know, do you know what he's referring to?
He makes many claims that he has made me who I am and that he owns me, and at any point in time he can that he
That what?
he just claims he owns me and that he has made me who I am and that he can take it all away.
Was this the first, what we're seeing in this message, is this the first time he said something like that to you?
Yes.
We're on page 4 of P2. In this, you talk about what needed to be done for the night. What are you talking about there?
That we need to be away from him and stay with Adriana or Anna.
And here on page 5, there's the message at the bottom of the screenshot talks about last weekend and refers to a pillow. Is that about the incident that you just discussed from January of 2020?
Yes, it is.
And as I scroll through, we're seeing numbers on the left side from Mr. Dixon. Do you know what those were?
I believe it was his countdown for calling the cops or coming to Adriana's house to come and get him. I don't remember which one it was. I think it said further up, but yes, it says, okay, well, I'll show this to the police when they show up. And then he began a countdown for me to bring William to him at the house.
And around this time, did he contact you in any other way?
Via Instagram, on the instant messenger or whatever it's called on there.
And Your Honor, may I share again?
You may.
All right, Ms. Dixon, I'm showing you what's marked as P3. It is 6 pages long. Do you recognize this?
Yes. These are the messages I was receiving that same night on February 1st.
And are these screenshots that you took?
Yes.
And do they appear to be the same as when you provided them to me?
Yes.
Have they been changed or altered in any way to affect the text we're seeing?
No.
State moves to enter P3 into evidence.
Any
No
objection? Petitioners 3 is admitted.
Ms. Dixon, at the top of P3, we're seeing texts in white bubbles. Are those from Mr. Dixon?
Yes. And I think the white is him. And it appears like a light gray on my side. And that is me responding.
Okay. And at the top, he references, but he's not me. Remember, I made you. What is he referring to?
Again, he's referring to someone I went to high school with that he alleges I had an affair or a fling with. And because we were friends on Instagram, that's the he's referring to.
Here on page 2, there's a message from Mr. Dixon in the middle of the page. It says, "Big bank take little bank."
Yes.
Do you know what that means?
Objection calls for speculation.
I actually
you-
don't understand.
All right, the witness does not know. Next question.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Ms. Dixon, a little farther down, it says, I'll begin in the middle of a message. It says, "You may be from here, but I'm better connected than you are. Cousins aside." Do you know what that means?
Yes, he assumes that because my family is Hispanic and we're from El Paso, that apparently we're all cartel members or something of that nature.
Do you have cousins in El Paso?
I do, plenty. My huge family here in El Paso.
And here on page 3, what are we seeing in this continuation of these messages?
This woman in this photo is who he sent a picture of, like a screenshot of her account, if you will, and that's who he would be sleeping with. Where on this page it says, "This is what I'll be doing while you sit and figure out what to do."
And what is he referring to, saying this is what I'll be doing?
Her, that he'll be doing her.
And at the bottom, he tells you, "I made you and I'm taking it away."
Yeah.
Was this common for him to say to you?
It's very common, yes.
Was it common for him to call you names?
Yes, it is.
You mentioned taking a picture of sheets. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, what were you referring to?
That the night of the 28th, when he became drunk again, ripped the sheets, and that's when I had made that in case to just take William and I somewhere safe.
I apologize, Your Honor. If I may have a second, my computer's bouncing my audio back and forth from one mic or one speaker. Your Honor, is the court able to hear me?
Yes.
On my end, Miss Dixon keeps breaking.